is be prepared. And the reason I like the Boy Scout motto is because I feel like mathematicians and chess players always think ahead. They love to think ahead. And I think that you guys should appreciate the planning that your parents have to do to make sure that you have a great vacation. So I gave all these ideas on research and bringing stuff like bringing your blanket, pillow, or stuffed animals when you go travel, or games, or sports gear. And then also, there's something called global positioning system. And I want to ask the mathletes right now, have you ever heard of global positioning system? And I want you to raise your hand electronically if you've heard of it. Julian, tell us what you know about global positioning system. Julian, go ahead. So Julian, I just called on you because you raised your hand. If you didn't mean to raise your hand, I can call on someone else. Also, Tess, can you undo your virtual screen as well as Alexander? Because we can't see you because it doesn't really work, that technology for most people. Lila, you raised your hand, sweetheart. What do you want to tell us about global positioning systems? Okay, I'm going to go with Andrew. Andrew, you have your hand raised. Do you want to tell us about global positioning system?
It's a GPS.
Yes, it does. It does have an acronym, GPS.
Yeah, like you use it to know where you're going. So like if you get lost, you can just look on the GPS and then find your way back.
Andrew, that is right. Lila, what do you think? You had your hand raised as well. I'm going to mute everybody, and then I'm going to unmute Lila. Go ahead, Lila.
I thought the same thing as Andrew.
Oh, fantastic. That is great. Well, guys, I am going to show you guys how global positioning system works. So what happens is they use a coordinate of satellites. In fact, there are 24 satellites that are in the orbit of the Earth, 12,000 miles. 12,000 miles off the surface of planet Earth. And those 24 satellites are circling around, and they help us find our position. They do something called triangulation. So if you look here at my screen, what they do is they actually create a triangle. So for instance, if there's a satellite at Boise and Minneapolis and Tucson, those three satellites work together to find your location right in the middle. And it sends a signal at the speed of light. It sends a signal at the speed of light to tell you where you are on the planet. And that way you know where you are all the time. So I'm going to now ask Victoria to share. Go ahead, honey.
It's more of a question.
Go for it.
What's the speed of light?
Well, you know, Victoria, you've asked a really good question. The speed of light, Victoria, is 186,000 miles per second. Oh my gosh. That means from a satellite 12,000 miles up, it would take a split second, in fact, not even a second, 1/10 of a second for the signal to reach the planet. So Victoria, You asked an amazing question. Light travels so fast, Victoria, and it's really, really cool to think about that. And I'm going to call on you, Ava. Go ahead, honey. And Ava, you are now unmuted.
I have a comment. So my uncle's name is Boise.
That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. Everybody's got a cool uncle. Avery, what about you, honey?
I
Avery,
accidentally
you
put
had
it
your
on.
hand up.
I
Say again?
accidentally put it on. I
Oh,
accidentally put it
okay.
on.
No problem at all. So now let me explain how it works. When we want to find our position on the planet, it's literally on a coordinate grid, just like we learned the last 2 weeks. There's something here called the equator. And the equator is an imaginary line that cuts the earth in half. It cuts the earth in half. Yes, Victoria.
Where the center of the earth is. And I
Say
know
that
the
one more
center of the
time.
earth, it's like a sun, I think. It's like lava, basically.
Wait, say it one more time, Victoria.
The center of the earth is, I think it's made of lava.
Oh, the very, very center. It's
Yeah,
called
it cuts across that line
Right,
cuts across the center of the earth.
Right, it's called the core of the earth. It's in the inside of the sphere that is our planet. And the very inside is a very, very hot, hot core. Great comment. And now I want to hear from Lucia.
By the way, my name's Lucia.
Oh, Lucia, sorry, sweetheart.
It's fine. The equator is really hot.
Yeah, well, the equator is really hot because it is the closest to the sun. Really, really great comment. Great comment. And Ava, last comment, and then we're going to continue on. Go ahead, honey.
Like the core of an apple, kind of?
It's exact, Ava. I could not come up with a better example. Yes, it's like the core of the apple, but instead of the core of the apple going from the North Pole to the South Pole, the core of the earth is just in the center, kind of like a big pit in the center, like an avocado. If you've ever peeled an avocado, you know that that pit is in the very, very center. Now, Alexander, you had your hand up too.
There's also a movie called The Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Oh, wow. Jules Verne. That's one of the great books of all time. And yes, I think they made a movie. Great comment. And Victoria, go for it.
How is the equator the closest to the sun? I mean, it's inside the earth. So wouldn't that make it a bit farther away?
Well, great question, but it's actually not inside the earth. So the equator, if you think about the equator, look at this sphere that I'm holding right now. This line right here, which is actually the two pieces of this ball, this equator is on the outside. Now it's an imaginary line, and it goes through places like Ecuador and Central Africa, and even north of Australia and south of Asia. And if you guys go like this, everybody go like this and say latitude. Everybody go like this and say latitude. We can go 10 degrees up, 20 degrees up, 30 degrees up, 40 degrees up, keep going, 50 degrees up, 60 degrees up, 70 degrees up, 80 degrees up, and when we get to 90 degrees, who can tell me where we are? raise your hand electronically to tell me where we are at 90 degrees north. 90 degrees north. And I am going to choose Tess. Go for it, Tess.
I accidentally raised my hand.
Okay, who else can do it? Let's see. We'll go with Lucia.
North Pole.
The North Pole.
Oh, guys, everybody give her a round of applause. The North Pole, awesome, awesome, awesome. And I know a lot of you thought it was the North Pole also. Now, we're gonna go the other way now. Everybody take a journey with me. Say latitude. Latitude 0 degrees is the equator. Now let's go down 10 degrees and down another 10 to 20 degrees. 30 degrees south, 40 degrees south, 50 degrees south, 60 degrees south, 70 degrees south, 80 degrees south, 90 degrees south. And what do we now have? Everybody say it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Antarctica.
Yes! It's the South Pole, everybody. That's the South Pole. Now, what's really, really cool, there's another imaginary line, and this one is my favorite. Everybody look at this line and go vertical.
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 And who knows the name of the vertical imaginary line that cuts the earth in half? And this imaginary line goes from the North Pole down to the South Pole. The North Pole down to the South Pole. I'm going to call on Julian. But Julian, you're going to have to unmute yourself because you raised your hand and you're muted. There you go, buddy.
The axis.
Say it again, buddy.
The axis.
Oh, the axis. Wow. That's a great, great answer, Julian. I'm so proud of you. It's actually called, are you ready for this? The prime meridian. Everybody say it. Prime meridian. And Gabe, did you raise your hand, buddy?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I was gonna say the prime meridian.
Oh, everybody say it. The prime meridian. Okay, now, who can tell me what happens when we go 15 degrees to the right?
Let's follow along.
30 degrees to the right. Who can tell me what it means when we go to the right? Is it east? Are we going east, everybody? Everybody say we're going east. So 15 degrees east. Come on, 30 degrees
He's moving this way.
45 degrees east. Now we're in the Middle East. 60 degrees east. 75 degrees east. Now we're in India. 90 degrees east. 105 degrees east. Now we're in China. 120 degrees east. We just hit Australia. 135 degrees east. Now we're in Japan. 150 degrees east. And oh my gosh, we are almost at what's called the international date line, which is the other vertical line on the other side of the earth. And of course, what happens if we go to the left? 15 degrees
This
left
line?
brings us to Iceland. 30 degrees west brings us to Greenland. 45 degrees west brings us to Brazil. 60 degrees west brings us, do you know where it brings us? It brings us close to Maine and Quebec and Canada. 75 degrees brings us to New York. 90 degrees brings us to Texas. 105 degrees, Colorado. 120 degrees west, California. And oh my gosh, 135 and 150 west is Alaska. Oh my gosh. Now, everybody look at this. This is what the Earth really looks like. So I'm gonna actually go like this, and I'm gonna circle one of the hemispheres. And I want you guys to call out when I say 1, 2, 3, which hemisphere is north of the equator, but east of the prime meridian. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Asia.
Northeast. Everybody say it.
Asia.
Northeast. That's right. And then let's do another one. I'm gonna now circle everything south of the equator, but west of the prime meridian. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Southwest.
Southwest. And what about this one?
I want you to answer these.
Southeast.
East.
Right, southeast. And what about the place where we live in North America?
Northwest.
That is right. Now, you're not going to believe it, but latitude, and remember I told you guys that latitude, I'm hearing a lot of noise in the background, so I'm going to mute everybody for just a few minutes. So when I talk about latitude, remember, latitude gives us the north of the equator, and it gives us the south of the equator. North 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 to the North Pole, and all the way 90 south to the South Pole. We call the equator and all the latitudes parallels. Everybody say parallel. This is parallel. Now, when we look at longitude, everybody go longitude. Everybody go longitude. And what I want you to look at right now is I want you to look at this orange. Can anybody see how there are longitudinal lines from the North Pole to the South Pole of the orange? So I'm going to actually make a little NP at the North Pole. Here's the North Pole. The South Pole is way down here. And look at the longitudinal lines, just like the prime meridian. And the next time you guys peel an orange, I want you to look at the longitudinal lines that go from the North Pole to the South Pole. Is everybody getting kind of hungry just thinking of oranges right now?
It won't be
Okay.
long until I have another orange.
Yeah. So I have to tell you guys, it's very, very important that you know your longitude is going east and west. Your equator goes north and south. Now, are you guys ready? I have a little quiz for you. And here's what I want you to do. If you know how to, well, you know what? We don't have to do chat right now. I want you guys to tell me which of these 4 pictures shows lines of longitude. Which one of these pictures shows lines of longitude? I'm going to ask you to say it out loud on 1, 2, 3, go.
B.
Wait a minute. You guys are incredible. Yes, you did it. You did it. I'm so proud of you. Okay, next question. Which picture shows the Western Hemisphere? The Western Hemisphere. And just remember, that is where we live, west of the prime meridian. Okay, on three, say it. 1, 2, 3.
C. C.
And there it is. You can see North America and parts of South America. It's called the Western Hemisphere. Very, very important. And guys, remember that the Western Hemisphere is everything to the left of the prime meridian. Everything to the left of the prime meridian is the Western Hemisphere. Very, very good. Okay, next question. Are you ready? Which picture shows the Southern Hemisphere? Which picture shows the Southern Hemisphere? And I'm going to want you guys to say it out loud in just a second. On 3, 1, 2, 3, go.
D.
Oh my God, you did it again. You did it again. This is actually Antarctica. So it's literally the Southern Hemisphere, everything below the equator. Let's look at it. Remember, everything south of the equator is the Southern Hemisphere. Really, really important. Okay, next one. Here we go. This is the measure that shows how far north or south a place is from the equator. Which picture shows us that? On 3, 1, 2, 3, go.
A.
If you said A, you are right, because those are lines of latitude. Everybody say it. Lat, flat.
Latitude.
Lat, flat. Lat, flat. Now I want everybody right now, and I'm going to tell you what page to go through in your packet, but I want you to go to page 7 in your packet. I want you to go to page 7 in your packet. And if you don't have your packet, do not worry. Just look on with Mr. Kramer. And I'm going to mute everybody, and I'm going to want you guys to raise your hand when I ask a question. So my first question is, what is going to be the answer to this one right here? So I want you to look at this arrow and this line right here. And I want you to tell me which one of these answers in degrees would go up here. And what we're looking for is we're looking for your ideas for what goes right up here, and it's the degree measurement of the prime meridian. So who can do it? And I've got Julian. Go for it, Julian.
90 degrees longitude.
Ooh, whoa. Now, 90 degrees longitude, you'd have to say east or west. So let me show you what 90 degrees longitude looks like. So 90 degrees east, Julian, is right there, and that's 90 degrees east, and 90 degrees west is this longitudinal line right there. That's 90 degrees west. So that was a really good first try. I'm so proud of you, and I'd like to take Lucia now. Go for it, Lucia.
0 degrees longitude.
Wait a minute. Avery, do you agree with that? Wow, guys, that is amazing. I agree. It's 0 degrees longitude. Everybody say that. 0 degrees longitude. because it goes up and down, and it is the prime meridian. Now, I have another special question. And the special question I have now is this. Let me mute all again there. Good. Now, hold on a second. Unmute and mute all. Go. All right. So the next question I have is, how about this one right here? This one right here, which is this line of longitude. And remember, everything to the right of the prime meridian is east. So is east. Now remember, when Julian answered, remember this was 90 degrees east? So what would this guy be right here? So I've got, I've got Gabe here. Go for it, Gabe.
45 degrees west.
Ooh, that was so close. So 45 degrees west is to the left of the prime meridian. So this is 45 degrees west. So Gabe, that was an awesome try. And Tess, what do you think?
45 degrees east.
That's right, 45 degrees east. So I'm gonna write that in. Everybody lower their hand, and we're gonna go to the next challenge. We're gonna go to the next challenge, but I wanna write that down first. 45 degrees east. And we're gonna do just a few more, but I have a really challenging one right now. Wait a minute. How about we do this one right here? Everybody raise their hand if they know this one. Remember, it's kind of a special line. It's a special line that cuts the earth in half horizontally. And everybody say it on 3. 1, 2, 3, go.
180 degrees east.
Ooh, interesting.
0 degrees latitude.
Interesting. Guess what? I have to tell you something very special right now. This actually is 180 degrees east, but it's the longitude line. But this is a latitude line. Everybody else say it if you know it.
135 east.
This one is a latitude. Latitude. It's the equator. Who knows the degree of the equator? It's right in the middle. Go ahead, Alexander.
135 degrees east.
No, east would
0.
be a longitude line just like that, which is great. Alexander, that was a great one. Lila, how about you?
0 degrees longitude.
Oh, it is 0 degrees latitude. Because remember, flat. The equator is 0 degrees latitude. Very good. Very good. Okay, I've got one more challenge for you. And this one here, I'm actually going to circle this one here. And this one here is wanting us to look at this line of longitude, which goes right through the United States. It's halfway from the prime meridian out to 180 degrees west. So I want you guys to say it on 3. 1, 2, 3, go.
90 degrees west.
Oh my God, you guys totally rock. 90 degrees west is exactly right. I'm so proud of you guys. That was awesome. Now, I have something to share with you right now. I gave you on the next page, I gave you a special link to a website called Lat Launch. And if your parents allow you to go on Lat Launch, LATLONG.net, you could put any place you want on the planet, and it will give you the coordinates. It will first give you the north-south, and then it will give you the east-west. It'll give you the north-south, and it'll give you the east and then west. Now, I put Boston in, and Boston is 42 degrees north and 71 degrees west. And I have Ava.
My cousin's name is Boston.
You got a lot of cousins and uncles with names of cities. I love it. I love it. How about you, Victoria?
I think I have a game on my iPad that I think it might have something to do with the satellites
Oh,
out of
that's
space.
awesome.
It literally, so
Google Maps.
it's Google Earth, and then we can literally see our own house.
Oh, wait a minute. So Google Earth takes pictures from the satellites 12,000 miles in the sky, and
then you can
takes a picture
zoom
of your
in.
house?
I
Victoria,
let's see,
do they take my house too, or just your house?
What?
Do they take a picture of my house also, or just your house?
I'll have to look on the app.
That's great. That's great. Alexander, go ahead, honey.
I have the same thing as Victoria, but you could go anywhere in the whole entire world. You just have to search it up.
Wow, that is awesome. Google Earth is a lot of fun. Now, I want to take you guys right now to Israel. I was going to be in Jerusalem today. And Jerusalem, and look at this, guys, is around the 32nd parallel north. 32nd parallel north, and then east, 35 degrees east. And that's where Israel is. Now, some of you were also going to be in China. Now, I love the map of China, and I can see that the latitude is around 40 degrees north for Beijing and around 116 degrees east of the prime meridian. And that's the location of Beijing, which is the capital of China. So really, really cool stuff. Now, I'm going to ask you guys another question. And here we go. We're going to look at, and this one, let me see if I can find the page for you. I'm going to look for the page. It's page 9 in your packet. It's page 9 in your packet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at page 9, and I want you guys to raise your hand if you can help me find, why don't we find Washington, D.C.? Why don't we find Washington, D.C., which is the 38th parallel north. So Washington, D.C. is somewhere below the 40th parallel north and above the 35th parallel north. And it's also 77 degrees west. So 77 is a little bit west of 75 degrees, a little bit east of 80 degrees, and we go straight down And how many of you can write DC right on that spot? So you should write DC right on that spot, because that's the 38 parallel north latitude and the 77th parallel west longitude. Was everybody able to find Washington, D.C.? Was everybody able to find it? Is anybody having trouble finding it? That's what I want to know. And yeah, Julie, you have to unmute yourself, buddy. Okay, I'm trying to unmute you. Let's see if I can do it. I keep hitting the unmute button. So I'm sorry. Oh, there you go, Julian. Excellent. So Julian, what's your question, buddy?
He doesn't even have a question. He's totally lost on this particular.
Does he see, I'm so sorry, does he see the 40th parallel north? Do you see, Julian, 40 degrees north?
Here's 40, right? Sweetie,
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now take a trip with me, Julian. We're going to go all the way horizontally
40.
across the 40th parallel north.
Okay.
And now,
Look,
to find Washington, D.C., Julian, what is the coordinate of the north? Is it 40 or is it something else?
It's 48.
Good job.
38, which is just a little bit lower than the 40th parallel. So 38 is just a little bit lower than the 40th. Now, Julian,
See it?
we have to find the longitude. Now, Julian, do you see the 75th degree west right here?
Yeah.
And do you see how we are going straight down? But guess what? We don't want 75. We want what number west?
77.
You got it. And that means we have to go a little bit west. And this, my friend, is the location of Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Great. And you keep asking those good questions, Julian. Okay? And now, Victoria, you have a question. Victoria had her hand up. And okay, let's go, guys, to do, okay, Ava, go for it, kiddo.
I was just there for a gymnastics show about 2 months ago.
That is fantastic. Now, can everybody please, let's find another one. So I am going to erase all of this good work that we did on Washington, D.C., and let's find, who can tell me what city they want to find right now? Who can tell me? Go ahead, Avery. You have to unmute yourself, though, honey. Go ahead, Avery.
Boston.
Everybody, let's do it. Let's do Boston right now. So everybody, please put a little circle right around Boston, which is the 42nd parallel north and the 71st parallel west. So let's do the 42nd parallel first. Do you think we should start at 40, everybody? Do you think we should start at 40?
Yeah.
All right, let's go above 40 to 42. And if you look at the line that I'm making, Boston is going to be on that line. But now we have to find the east-west longitude, which is 71. So everybody go to 70 and go west 1 little degree. And look at it, guys. Oh my gosh. Boston is right at the intersection. And that's Boston at 42 degrees north, 71 degrees west. Any questions on this one? Because we can go through it even slower and we can go through it again. Now, here we go, guys. What I think we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to Miami. I want everybody right now to circle Miami, which is, wait, do we have Miami? No, I'm sorry, not Miami, but we're gonna go to
Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida. Thank you. Whoever helped me with that one, I really appreciate it. Now, Tampa, Florida, who can tell me what is the latitude? What is the north latitude? Go ahead, Avery.
It's Florida. I'm still trying to find out where Boston is.
Well, Boston is right over here, Avery, at the 42nd parallel north and the 71st parallel west. Avery, do you see it now? Avery, do you see it now, honey?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Now, everybody, please find the 27th parallel north. If you start with the 30th parallel, everybody, look at the 30th parallel. Oh my gosh, isn't the 27th right down here? And what about the 82nd parallel? I'm sorry, the 82nd longitude west. Let's start with 80.
Yep.
Let's start with 80.
Florida's in the water.
And I'm gonna mute everybody so everybody can hear. I'm gonna start with 80, and we're gonna go just a little bit west and a little bit south of 30 to 27. And does everybody now see Tampa, Florida? Tampa, Florida, right there. Does everybody see that? Okay. Everybody's got it. Julian's got a big thumbs up. Awesome, buddy. That is great. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions now. And we're going to go to a different page, and you can finish this one later on. Oh, I've got a good one for you. Everybody go to page 10. Everybody go to page 10 in their packet. And it should look like a map of the United States with all of the latitudes counting by fives and the longitudes counting by tens. And the longitudes counting by tens. So now, my question to you is this. My first question is, do lines of latitude run east-west or north-south? Do lines of latitude run east-west or north-south? I want you guys to think about it. We're talking about latitude. Do they run east, west, or north, south? On 3. 1, 2, 3, go.
North, south.
Well, do you think latitude runs from the North Pole to the South Pole? Isn't that longitude? That's longitude. Everybody go like this. Latitude runs east-west. Yes, Tessa, or Tess, sorry.
I accidentally raised my hand.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna lower everybody's hand now. So everybody write inside there, east, west. All right, now I have a question for you, all right? And this one you should be able to answer. Name one state that is mostly east of longitude 70. So I'm going to draw a line right on longitude 70 right now. And I want you to tell me which state do you think is mostly east of longitude 70? Who thinks they know which state?
Maine.
Andrew, go for it, buddy. Go for it, Andrew. Oh, Andrew, you are muted. There you go. Go ahead, Andrew.
Maine.
If you said Maine, you are absolutely correct. It is the only state in the United States that is east of the 70-degree west longitude. Awesome, awesome. Now, next question is, name 3 states. Name 3 states that are west of longitude 120. So I'm gonna make a little line down longitude 120, and I want you to tell me which are the 3 states which are west of longitude 120. And this is a little bit harder because we don't live on that part of the United States, or at least I don't. So I want to ask Tess and Lila to answer this question for us. Go for it, girls.
Oregon, Washington, and California.
Wait a minute. Is that correct? Washington?
He's so jealous. I knew it.
Oregon,
Oregon,
and California. Wow, that was amazing. That was really, really awesome. So I'm so proud of you guys. Now, I want to tell you that another really fun thing that I gave you, and this is something you could do with your parents. On page 12 of your packet, if you go to page 12 of your packet right now, it's almost the last page, and it's a map of the entire world. And I listed all the places that the mathletes said they wanted to go. So these are all the places from Israel to Sedona, Arizona, to Toronto, Canada, to Beaver Creek, Colorado, to Galway, Ireland, to Spain, to Orlando and Disney World. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but Mr. Kramer actually put Israel right on this list because that's where I was supposed to be. And I found this at the 31st parallel north, the 31st parallel north, so 31 north, and I found it at the 35th parallel east, the 35th parallel east, so 35th parallel east and 31 north, and that's where Israel is located. Now, what I'm going to do for the next few minutes is I want to ask one person to give me their location. Where do you want to travel? And the whole Mathlete group is going to take a journey there. So who wants to do that? So I've got Avery raised her hand. Go ahead, Avery.
Turks and Caicos.
Oh, wait a minute. Turks and Caicos, one of my favorite places on the planet. So let's find Turks and Caicos. It's right here. And Turks and Caicos is 21, almost 22 degrees north. So let's find that right. Well, first of all, let's find 20 degrees north. So Avery and everybody else, go to the 20th parallel north. Let's start with the 20th parallel north. And then let's go to the 71st parallel west. And maybe what we'll do is we'll just make a little mark at the 70th parallel. And Avery, you know where it is? It's right where those lines intersect. Everybody look at Turks and Caicos. So Turks and Caicos is at the 22nd parallel north and the 72nd parallel west, the longitude west. So 72nd west
I'm gonna
and 22 north. Does anybody else have a destination? We can go anywhere we want to go. Anywhere. Go ahead, Andrew.
West Palm Beach. Celery.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. If I can find it here, I'm looking for Florida. Let's see. Maybe Palm Beach, Florida. I don't have it on here, but what I will do is let's do Miami. Let's do Miami,
Where's
Florida.
Miami? Where is it?
All right.
So
So
teeny.
everybody, let's go to 25 north. 25 north. And then let's go to from 25 north to 80 west.
80.
Oh, look at 80 west, everybody. Here it is. And oh my gosh, do you guys see Miami right there? Right there, right near Palm Beach. Oh my gosh, what a great find. And the last thing that I wanted to show you guys before we say goodbye, and Alexander, do you have a question, buddy?
I had a destination.
Oh, what's your destination, buddy?
Hawaii.
Oh my God, guess what? Alexander, it's right here on the bottom. 19 degrees north and 155 west. So I'm gonna do a quick location for you. 155
Shows 160.
and it's 19 degrees. Guess what, buddy? Alexander, there is Hawaii. Okay, so I want you guys to have a lot of fun finding it. And I wanted to show you one more picture. I gave you a map of the world in color so you could find all the countries that you want to travel to. So if you want to go to Russia or China or Brazil or Greenland or
Can understand the numbers? I
Australia
don't understand.
or Indonesia, you can take a trip with me. So let's everybody, we're gonna do a little cheer, but to do this cheer, we're gonna go to one of our maps, all right? And we're gonna go, and we're gonna start with -90 degrees south. Are you ready? -90, -80, -70,
-70.
-60,
-50.
-40, -30,
-30.
-20, -10. But don't ever say negative equator. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Mathletes. Go mathletes. I will see you in the Northwest Hemisphere next week in 167 hours.
Daddy,
Have a great time traveling.
I don't even know.
Please, I miss you guys. See you later. Have fun traveling.
Bye.
And I'm gonna have you say goodbye to all your friends now, so you can say goodbye to all your buddies. Oh, you guys are the best. Bye, guys. Bye, Sabrina. Bye, Lucia. Bye, Avery. Bye, Julian. Bye.